Hi guys, this is Aman from Nikon India technical team and welcome to DSLR filmmaking tutorial. Now we have been getting a lot of queries from our customers and users asking for a dedicated tutorial on DSLR filmmaking. But before we get on to the tutorial part, I would ask you to watch a short film which has been created by the Nikon team, that is Roof of the World. The link for the same is given below under this tutorial. Now the idea to create this film is to use it as a reference for understanding certain parameters of DSLR filmmaking. Now it is important to know that this movie Roof of the World has been created using few DSLRs, few lenses and certain accessories which are required to create a cinematically stunning film. During the course of this tutorial, you will understand how to make nice films using a DSLR and a lens. Now this tutorial has been divided among three parts. The first part deals with the technical aspects of DSLR filmmaking, that is, what one needs to set in his camera before he starts shooting. The second part deals with the pre-production, that is, to be precise, what one has to think before he heads off to the shooting location. And the third part deals with the on-ground tips and techniques shared by the team involved in the shoot from the shooting location itself. So let's start with the technical part. So here I have with me today D810 and what I will be explaining are the basic settings which one needs to require to shoot a movie. Now the settings would remain the same across mostly all the Nikon DSLRs. So the first parameter which you need to set for your DSLR film recording would be the frame size and the frame rate. This you can find under the movie setting option which is available in the shooting menu. Once you go into this option, you will see you have 1920 into 1080 at 60p, at 50p, at 24p, 25p. Now 1920 into 1080 is your frame size. 60p, 50p, 25p, 30p, 24p, this is your frame rate. Once you decide the look and feel of the movie, for example, if you are going for a cinematic look, you would choose 24p. If you are going for a slow-mo, you would choose 60p. Now the second parameter which you need to set is the picture control. Picture control is available in the shooting menu. When you go inside the picture control, there are approximately 7 different settings available such as standard, neutral, vivid, monochrome, portrait, landscape and flat. In case if your camera does not have the flat option, choose neutral. But before you start movie recording, you need to change certain parameters within the neutral picture control. Over here you would have sharpening, clarity, contrast, brightness, saturation and hue. So firstly go on to sharpening and bring it down to 0. Then go on to contrast and bring it down to -3. If your camera has the option of flat picture control, then we highly recommend you to use it. Now the newer generations of cameras such as the D810, D750 have this option available. While you're recording a movie using the flat picture control, you would see the colors on the LCD screen may not look that good or let's say dull, but this gives you far much more scope of color grading in your post-production. So after setting your picture control, the next parameter which you need to set is the white balance. It is very important to set your white balance right because it decides the look of the film. For example, if you're shooting at 24p, then each frame which is being recorded is like a JPEG file. Now while you are doing stills, it is much more easier to change your white balance because you're shooting raw. So in order to do that, you need to set your white balance before you start shooting. The white balance option is available in the shooting menu. Once you're inside the white balance, you will see a lot of different parameters available. So if you want to go for a warmer tone, you can choose something like a cloudy or a shade white balance. But what we recommend is you to set your color temperature according to the look and mood of the film. So after setting your white balance, the next important factor which you need to take care is your exposure. Now the exposure is controlled by 3 elements, that is your aperture, shutter speed and ISO. Now when you're doing still photography, for example, if you set your aperture at 1.8, 2.8 and your ISO is set at 100, you will alter your shutter speed in order to compensate for the light entering the camera. In videos, the things are a little bit different. You need to keep your shutter speed constant. In order to keep your shutter speed constant, you will have to look for your frame rate. Now, if your frame rate is set to 24 fps, then your shutter speed needs to be 1/48. But in our DSLRs, 1/48 is not available, only 1/50th is available. Similarly, if your FPS is set to 60, then your shutter speed needs to be 1/120th. Now coming down to another parameter is focusing. In your camera, you have autofocusing as well as manual focusing. But while you're doing video recording, it is recommended that you do manual focusing. In order to achieve manual focusing, you need to toggle between the switch on the lens or on the body and put it on to M. Focusing in your camera works on phase detection as well as contrast detection. But while you're doing video recording, the mirror goes up and it works only on contrast detection. Now as a filmmaker, you want control over your focusing. You do not want your camera to autofocus itself and shift focus. And in order to control that, you would use the manual focus. To do manual focusing easily, it is recommended that you use block lenses. In block lenses, there is only one ring which you have to control, that is the focus ring. Last but not the least, to get a professional look in your video, it is recommended that you use a tripod or any other stabilizer which is available in the market. I hope these tips are helpful in improving your video shooting capabilities. Till next time, this is Aman Wilson signing off.